Hi everybody, I am Jarrett Ross, the GeneaVlogger, and on today's vlog I will be discussing how I was able to expand my family tree by connecting with descendants of my ancestors' neighbors. To start this out, I'm going to discuss my great-grandfather Jack Ecoff. He was born in the Alliance Colony on September 30th, 1895. His parents were Marcus Ecoff and Fanny Dudis. Marcus Ecoff had actually come to Alliance with his parents Jacob and Rebecca Ecoff in 1882 as one of the first of 43 founding families of the Alliance Colony. Now, the Alliance Colony was actually the first successful Jewish agricultural colony in the Americas. Marcus Ecoff was born in 1860, and his parents, Jacob and Rebecca, were born in the 1820s. It's believed that Rebecca was born in about 1824, and she actually passed away in 1936 at the age of 102. There's a family story that even exists to this day that into her old age, her favorite thing to do was to drink blackberry brandy. In researching the family through the available paper trail on Ancestry and Family Search and other websites, I wasn't really able to expand the family out beyond Marcus and his parents. But in the 1900 census, it shows that Rebecca had 10 children total, and 2 were still living in 1900. So we know that Marcus had a sibling. Now, Marcus's wife, Fanny Dudis, was not one of the original settlers of the Alliance Colony, but she shows up fairly early on along with some of her siblings. Now, luckily, we know a little bit more about this side of the family because this side of the family is actually connected to the Mills Music Publishing family. Fanny Dudis' sister, Sophie, had married a man by the name of Hyman Minsky, and they had 2 children together, Jacob and Isidore. Jacob and Isidore then went on to change their name to Jack Mills and Irving Mills, with Jack eventually founding a publishing company, Irving joining on, and then fairly soon, my great-grandfather Jack Ecoff joined them as a salesman. So my side of the family has been in touch with the Mills family for a good amount of time. So thanks to a lot of the information that I had from knowing that connection, I was able to build the family tree out a bit more than on the Ecoff side. Now, some of my first videos actually discuss some of the research that I've done in finding other siblings of Fanny and Sophie. We'd found a brother named Harris Dudis who had died young and is actually buried in the Alliance Colony. I found a few records pertaining to him, and he'd actually been trying to naturalize before he died. In some of my earliest videos, I actually discussed how I was able to find that Fanny had another sister named Clara, and I was able to confirm that using both the paper trail and DNA. And in researching the family through different census records, I was able to determine that their mother's name was Bessie Dudis, and according to Harris's gravestone, their father's name was Yaakov Shlomo Dudis. Using that information, I then was able to find a possible other sister to Fanny whose name was Rose, but she didn't show up in a whole lot of documentation, so I really couldn't confirm if she was a sister of Fanny. Now, at that point, that was where I had been stuck from my great-grandfather Jack's family for a long time. But a few years ago, I started to connect with descendants of other Alliance Colony families. And even better, I actually connected with some of the families who were neighbors to my family in the Alliance Colony, which we know because we have maps of the Alliance Colony layout as well as the census records showing that the families were living near each other. Now, in connecting with all of these different Alliance Colony descendants, I actually created a Facebook group which has grown immensely and even led to a reunion last year that had over 600 attendees. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you may remember me going to the Alliance Colony and staying with Will and Malia Levin, with Will actually being a descendant of both the Bayuk and Levin families, which were 2 of the founding families of the Alliance Colony and 2 of the neighbors of my ancestors. Will has his hands on a lot of records that pertain to the Alliance Colony, and he has been working to get them digitized because he understands how important they are. And while Will has been in the process of digitizing these records, he's given me access to some of the files pertaining to my own family. And those files have allowed me to not only confirm some of the things I had been stuck on, but it also opened up big parts of the family. The first thing that he sent me gave me a name for my Ecoff side that I had never seen. There was an Abraham Ecoff married to a woman named Minnie. And apparently they had been part owners of some land that was owned by the family, and they had deeded that land to my great grandparents. Well, I had no Abraham Ecoffs. I knew there was none that were siblings of my great grandfather, and so I looked further into it, and I ended up finding there was an Abraham Ecoff married to a woman named Minnie, and Abraham was the son of an Israel Ecoff. And in looking through for Israel, I found Israel in 1895 living in Deerfield, New Jersey with his family, not too far away from my family. And he was about the right age to be an older brother of my great great grandfather, Marcus. As Will gave me more access to more records, then I came across something that actually showed the exact layout of the family, saying that Jacob and Rebecca Ecoff were the parents of Israel and Marcus. Israel eventually moved to Boston, which then makes sense why the families wouldn't have been that in touch. According to a lot of these letters, it seems that my great grandfather knew about his cousins and had been in touch with Abraham, but it wasn't something that really got passed on to my mom or my grandmother. These letters also opened up the Dudis side of my family. In these letters, there were actually responses from Jack Mills, my great grandfather's first cousin. And in these letters, they talk about how their aunt, Rose Dudis, who, if you remember, I said I had found in records, but I couldn't correlate her to the family and actually confirm she was related. Well, here I had it. I had a letter from a known cousin, Jack Mills, saying that he had been paying the taxes on his aunt Rose Dudis's land and that he was the one in control and that they were actually talking to him about trying to buy the land. In some of these other letters as well, they talk about how after Rose passed away, that they were trying to figure out who her heirs were, and they hadn't been able to figure it out. So a lot of these letters go through all of this information on the family. What was really great as well about these letters was it confirmed that Clara truly was a sister of Fanny Dudis, because in the letter, my great grandfather Jack refers them to his cousins Gertrude Doroff and Celia Gibraltar, who were the two daughters of Clara. So that confirmed that my great grandfather knew that they were cousins. Now, my next plan from here is to go to the Salem County Courthouse the next time I'm in Alliance and to go through the actual deeds that a lot of these records refer to, because that could have more information on the family. But these letters are things that you just don't find through the regular methods of ancestry or family search. You can only find them when you actually connect with others who are connected to your family. So it doesn't have to be just relatives. If your family was part of a community or maybe just a street or a neighborhood, and you can find people who descend from same people of that street or community or neighborhood, they may have things about your family that you would never think existed. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to give it the thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, you can click right about here. It's completely free to do so. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at GeneaVlogger. I'm the GeneaVlogger. See you in my next video.